The Fox Texas Trio is back to talk about our vision of what a Patrick versus Abbott property tax debate could look like. My word, voodoo. That's borrowed from Bush 41 when he first ran for president against Ronald Reagan, and Reagan's budget ideas, calling them voodoo economics. Stephen, both sides in this current debate were initially dug in, still dug in despite the strong rhetoric. So do you think a compromise is going to come? Can it happen?
A compromise will happen. We already know that this is a Republican priority. They don't want egg on their face, even though they kind of have it on their face right now. It's going to happen. The real question is, will it happen in this 30-day special session, or will it be special session 2 and other priorities get pushed to special session 3?
Greg, this budget surplus didn't come just from property taxes. The extra money includes increases in sales activity, gas prices, even inflation. There's a lot of small business owners in that part of Southeast Texas. Senator Paul Bettencourt, the architect of the Senate plans from Houston, is he getting any pushback from those businesses there in the Houston area?
Rudy, just for the record, none of this money came from property taxes. That said, on the issue of pushback, Senator Bettencourt tells me that as soon as constituents find out how much their tax bill falls with the permanent homestead exemption increase proposed in the upper chamber, potential critics become supporters. Bettencourt also told me the Senate has offered an array of business-specific exemptions to sweeten the pot for the House, all of which he says they've rejected. And make no mistake, while the House leadership talks about supporting small businesses with their all-compression plan, it's the biggest, wealthiest businesses that would absolutely rake it in. Now, when I asked if the lieutenant governor would be willing to drop his proposed homestead exemption from $100 to $80K and give the House the difference, Bettencourt said he doesn't believe Patrick will bend.
Yeah, I don't buy the boogeyman argument about these big payouts to the big property owners. But, Stephen, I think regardless of what compromise plan is passed, people continue to be taxed out of their homes because property taxes are no longer calculated on appraised values, not on the actual purchase. And, that just doesn't be fair. I spoke to people here in Austin. They want that kind of reform. Any talk about that in DFW?
Oh, yeah. I mean, any property owner is going to say, hey, I'm paying too much. I mean, not even to count inflation. I mean, property taxes and values were high before inflation. And so it's something that everyone wants. I think a lot of voters aren't going to really look into all the details of this back and forth. And I think the final product will be somewhat of a compromise in both chambers of getting that compression and homestead exemption.
Yeah, a lot of details, but don't read those details, right? Hey, the comptroller back in January warned lawmakers the extra cash may be an exception, not the norm. So if this surplus essentially is one-time money to be spent, Greg, has Harris County Democrats offered a wish list? Do you know anything like that?
Rudy, I think it's fair to say Democrats would spend every nickel on anything but tax relief. Public schools, teacher raises, and health care seem to be their biggest priorities. Look, I want to address the governor's proposal to completely eliminate property tax. Aside from economists saying it's a mega risky for a state to rely almost solely on sales tax as a principal revenue source, we'd have to raise the rate to something like 16 cents on every dollar.
All right, it's a knockout. To see this interview or any of our past interviews, go to our YouTube pages.
And follow us on social media.
A lot of debate will continue in Austin and across our state. And let's not forget a summertime possible impeachment trial. So make sure to join us next Sunday for Texas, The Issue Is. And remember to let us know what you think the issue is.